People always ask me, Craig, how do you have such amazing, crazy all-day energy? Is it this? Nope. Adderall? No way. Double espresso? No, sir. Box of Joe? No. Liquid death? I don't even know what that is. Big Bang? Nope. Monster? No. None of these are the secret to your all-day energy. Listen, if you want to have crazy productivity every single day without caffeine crashes and sugar highs, what you need to do is in this video. The first thing that you need to avoid is make sure you're not consuming too much sugar early in the day. You do that and you're gonna be sleepy, all right? The second thing is make sure you don't have a massive caffeine rush, because I'm gonna talk to you in a moment about how little doses of caffeine are actually proven to keep you more alert over the course of the day. Then you need to make sure that you're not eating fast food at lunchtime. It will put you to sleep in your chair at 2 o'clock. You've all been there, you all know that feeling, and if you don't make that connection between what you eat and how you feel and how productive you are, you will be forever caught up in that vicious cycle of being lazy and being behind. Then, this is a total surprise to people, but it's that environment that you're in. If you are in an environment with negative people, full of gossiping, always distracting you, how can you possibly be energetic and focused all day long? You know that that's going to be super difficult. And then another step that nobody ever thinks about when it comes to being crazy energetic all day long: do you have a big why? Do you know the reason why that you are working so hard? What are you doing all of this for? If you're just doing this for money, you're gonna tire out, you're gonna burn out. But if you're doing this for something greater, for greater impact and influence, while also increasing your income, you're gonna wake up every single day ready to go. So you gotta make sure that you have those things in place first. Well, actually, you have to have them removed first, have that big why in place, and then we can move on to the nitty-gritty details about how you can supercharge your energy all day long. So let's get into that next. So earlier that I mentioned, you want to actually break your caffeine down. So research from the United States Army, and you know those guys are doing their research, shows that when they gave soldiers smaller doses of caffeine rather than one big, what they call bolus, I don't know what that word means, but bolus of caffeine at once, the soldiers had greater levels of mental alertness and performance all day long. So instead of having your giant box of Joe all at once, break it down. So you just have your Joe first, then a little bit later have your and then finish off with your All right, so just break it on down and you won't have the caffeine crashes. The next thing you need to do sounds super, super boring, but trust me, according to sleep researcher Dr. Matthew Walker, the number one most important thing that we all must do if we want to have the best night's sleep, which then leads to the greatest amount of all-day energy, is to go to bed at the same time every single day and get up at the same time every single day. He says in his book, Why We Sleep, that if he could tell people to do nothing else, and he did have a 12-point list, he said the number one thing you must do is go to bed at the same time every single day and wake up at the same time every single day. I know that sounds boring and horrible, but do the best you can as long as you can. Get in a streak of like 14 days, 21 days. You will notice a huge difference. When I was 25, I first heard those words from my mentor, and I laughed them off for the next 7 years. That probably led to my anxiety attacks. It led to me not having the success that I wanted to in life. Finally, at age 32, I'm like, I don't really have anything to do for the next couple weeks. I think it was like early January, right, when it was boring social life, and I did it. And it supercharged my energy. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was still flying through things. Whereas in the past, when I would sleep, well, actually, I would go to sleep at the time that I would get up on most days. So Saturday morning, Sunday morning, I'd be going to sleep at 2 or 3 in the morning, sometimes 4 or 5. Normally, I was getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Man, when I finally stopped doing that and stuck to my normal bedtime or close to it during the weekend and did that for 21 days in a row, my energy went through the roof. It was more effective than proper nutrition, more effective than doing workouts every single day. It was that powerful and valuable. The next thing that you need to do is make sure that you are waking up with a plan and a purpose. You have your big why. We talked about that before. It's so important to create the vision for your future. But what about the vision for tomorrow? So as I teach in my books, The Perfect Week Formula and The Perfect Day Formula, you must do your planning the night before. If you're waking up in the morning when you have the greatest discipline, willpower, and intention, and you're doing your to-do list, you're already too late. You're spending your most creative time figuring out what the heck you're gonna do today, and that's not going to work. So at the end of the day, do your brain dump, get all the thoughts out of your head, then do a priority to-do list. Then you wake up in the morning and you're energized to get into it. That's a game changer. And when you have that in place, all of a sudden you'll be super productive and you'll probably get 2 or 3 times more done in a single day with that single change. And finally, the last thing that you want to do to put the icing on the cake of a great night's sleep so that you'll wake up in the morning and totally crush it is to follow my 10-3-2-1-0 formula from my first book, The Perfect Day Formula. What you do here, 10 hours before bed, is you cut off all that caffeine. No more Dunkins, no more Starbucks, no more McCafe, which is actually really good coffee. But none of that stuff. You cut it off 10 hours before bed. If you're sensitive to caffeine, make it 12 or 14 hours before you go to bed. I actually have my last drop of caffeine 13 hours before I go to bed. I have my last caffeine at 7 in the morning. I go to bed at the boring old man time of 8 o'clock, and the next thing you know, I have all day energy. Then the 3 hours before bed, you cut off all alcohol and heavy meals. 2 hours before bed, stop doing any work-related topics. And then an hour before bed, you turn off all your electronics. You use what I call the reverse alarm, a little notification on your phone that says turn off your phone, turn off your Netflix, turn off your laptop, turn it all off. Shut down your social media, and then wind down. Meditation, take a bath, talk to your kids, talk to your spouse, make your lunch for the next day. Shut it all down, read that book, fall asleep, and you wake up ready to crush it. Oh, and that zero from the formula, that's the number of times that you're gonna hit snooze in the morning, because if you hit snooze, you lose. You're not gonna tell your hopes and dreams that they can wait and you're gonna snooze. No, you're gonna get your butt out of bed, attack your big why, hit that to-do list, and be super crazy, productivity, and energetic all day long, like Mr. Craig Ballantyne. Let me know if I missed anything. Drop a comment down below, like, love, and share this with your friends so that they can get up and crush the day.